Our comments have exploded through the roof. So there you go.
Welcome back, Lancaster. It is Monday at 2 o'clock here in Lancaster. I was trying to rattle in the date there, and I just drew a blank. It's June 15th.
It is.
I thought you were looking at the paper for the time of day.
Hey, not to be that guy. It's June, halfway through the year, and we're already halfway through the month.
Yeah, my goodness. Like June just started, didn't it?
Yeah, you get into that Memorial Day, barbecue, fun, remembrance, honoring the reason for the weekend. And then it's graduation time. Typically, you have somebody graduating in your life. And then blammo, it's middle of June, and here we are.
I like to remind the kids right around now that school's going to start again soon. They don't like that. They don't like that comment at all.
Are we 8 weeks out already?
It's like, I mean, yeah, it's
9 weeks.
It's just probably.
I, however, no longer have. Well, I have a college one.
That is true.
But I no longer have.
Yes.
I don't.
Congratulations.
K through 12 kids. I don't know if that congratulations is good or bad. So.
Yeah. Well, congratulations to Aiden.
Yeah. He was happy
receiving his certificate there.
It was a fun time. Fun graduation. So hopefully your graduations were nice, whether they were kindergarten or 5th grade or middle school, 8th grade or high school or college. But now we're in summer.
Yep.
Now we're in summer. All right, well, let's kick it off. I got my mattress buying tip for you. This one inspired by some of my shenanigans online in the various mattress forums and places that people discuss mattresses. And this one was interesting. The customer posted a picture and said, "Did I buy a used mattress?"
Oh,
and in fact, they had, and they weren't. At least they weren't feeling they were aware of such a thing.
Yeah.
Now, this is not from us. Yep. This was from others. But just to educate you, here in Pennsylvania, I should have had this with me. My mistake. You can't miss it. It's a yellow tag.
Mm-hmm.
And it's what the state of Pennsylvania does to certify or have sellers let you as the consumer know you're buying something that's been pre-owned. And you have to disinfect it. And we have the state mandated disinfectant here. And so we always tag those items. And we, of course, let you know here in the store you're investing in something that was previously slept on. And that's really proliferated and gained momentum with in the last 10 years with comfort exchanges and what we call our wake up happy guarantee. So some of our vendors will take that stuff back and others just don't. And we have to exhaust it. We have to move it somewhere. And that somewhere is often into a customer's bedroom, but it's at a deep discount. And so we tell you why that discount exists, and we tell you it's a comfort exchange mattress. But in this case, buyer beware. So beware of what you're investing in. If the deal is too good to be true, it might be a true deal. It just might need to be that you have to ask, why is it the deal it is, right? So that's my mattress buying tip. Always be aware of what you're investing in and the price you're paying. And listen, you might get a very good deal. We know our customers do, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
oh yeah, 100%.
We often run those comfort exchanges at deep, deep discounts. But our customers are very much aware of what's up. And there's one of my son's friends, Liam.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
What's up, Liam? Yeah. We got the younger generation tuning in.
I like it. Yeah. Liam's a new Ford truck owner. Ford Truck Bros Unite. So anyway.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah. We're joined in studio by Danielle Keperling. How are you, Danielle?
Good. How are you?
Can't complain.
Great.
It's just like beautiful weather out there. Rained for the first time in a long time last night, but can't beat sunshine in like mid 70s, right?
No, and low humidity. It's the best.
Well, that's true too. we had a little bit of humidity over the weekend, and the storm last night cooled that off. But Danielle, you're a 2-timer on Lancaster Connects.
Yes.
First time in the Lancaster Connect studio, so great to have you.
Ribbons for that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Ribbons for in person or for the second time?
But I mean, the geography doesn't matter. It's the appearance that
counts. That's true. Yeah. That's true.
Saturday Night Live has Jack.
That's the 5-timers club.
Well, we need to think about that.
Yeah, maybe that's a 2027 project. Well, again, welcome.
Thank you.
Glad to have you here. You're representing the Historic Preservation Trust of Lancaster.
Correct.
Which we're going to dig into that and what you do there in just a little bit. But first, you have a responsibility that we have made you aware of.
Yes.
And our producer, Chris from Cast Ahead Productions, is going to pull it up there. It is the wheel of discounts and promotions. And
Wheel O discounts.
Well, I use the OF of.
Yeah, I mean, like
It's
stop
too proper.
Stop with all your proper English.
Well, no, it says Wheel of Names up there in the corner. That's
I think that's the official
that's
thing.
the
But that's the name of the discount.
That's the .com. Gotcha. Regardless, on the wheel are all kinds of discounts and promotions that are unique to Lancaster Connects listeners and watchers. And Danielle, when you're ready, you can go ahead.
Okay. Spin the wheel.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Danielle.
That's very fancy.
Yeah, it's very fancy.
Isn't it? It's like high tech around here.
Sometimes. Oh, and this is great for our
It's
nonprofit guest. This is $25 donation in your name. So this is for anybody that comes in and mentions this. We will make a donation in your name to a charity of your choice with any purchase. So it could be to the Historic Preservation Trust of Lancaster. It could be to somewhere else.
Yes.
But any great charity will make a $25 donation in your name with any purchase here at Gardner's Mattress and More, which I should mention is 830 Plaza Boulevard behind Park City Mall. If you didn't know, we've only been here 16 years.
Yeah, now you know.
Now you know.
Yeah, now you know.
Well, thank you, Danielle. Thanks for
Thank you.
making that wheel spin.
Yeah. So why don't you fill in those watching who you are and what it is you do over there at Historic Preservation Trust, the mission, the work you do, and why it's so important here to Lancaster County.
So it's actually our 60th anniversary.
6-0.
Yeah, 6-0.
Wow.
I was not there at the founding. We started in 1966 because they wanted to tear our headquarters down to build the parking garage at the corner of Prince and Orange. But because of our ties to the national story of the westward expansion, Meriwether Lewis was trained in our building to survey by Andrew Ellicott, and because of that that tie to the national story, they preserved the house, and that's what started the Historic Preservation Trust of Lancaster County. Just a group of people came together to save it and to stop the teardown that was going on in downtown Lancaster. So our mission now is to advocate and educate about preservation throughout the county. I'm the executive director. I have been for almost 5 years now. And technically I'm part-time, but I feel like that makes it sound less official when I say that.
Right.
Very good.
And what are your responsibilities there as his executive
So
director?
I work with the municipalities to strengthen preservation laws and ordinances throughout the county, but I also work with homeowners and private property owners to find good solutions for their preservation projects, and also then to do educational programs and fundraise and all the other things that nonprofits do. Just most nonprofits do those things too.
I feel I'm in touch with some questions you may answer, although certainly not historical. We're getting work done at our house, and we have the stone workers are there now, and we have to move the ring camera, and the ring camera is going to move off the brick molding to the stone. And my brick molding now has all the little holes that I've drilled in where I've moved it in various, blanks to rings to old school ding dong doorbell, right? And I asked the guy, like, hey, where can I get this brick mold? He's like, I have no idea.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of stuff you do, like period correct, maybe color correct to the point of, no, they didn't have, some shade of blue back then.
Correct.
They would have had maybe brown and red.
Yeah.
Those are the kinds of things you do and advise on, and the nitty gritty.
Yes. Because my background is preservation construction. That's what I do at the other part-time of my life. And so that is my strength in besides, is like those details, knowing those details.
So if you happen to have 8 feet of wineberry Bordeaux brick mold laying around, I could use one piece.
Just one piece. Okay.
Actually, I could, we could probably.
Do you have the paint?
We don't. I mean, really, I only need like a couple inches of it, but that would look pretty rough feathering it in. But anyway, I digress. Those kinds of details are what really shine in the projects, right? Like you really look to make everything pure. What are some of the more unique, like period correct things you've come across where
It's-
people have
yeah.
appreciated that detail?
Yeah, I was gonna say it's the details that matter. Like even the nails changed from colonial to Victorian to now. So it's those little details that do matter that people often don't know. It's like you don't know what you don't know. So they don't know that those are the details that they should be looking for. So I help them try to find those answers, but also not make decisions that are going to be detrimental to the building, because we want the buildings to survive another 100, 200 years. Yeah.
So just specifically, what is the difference between a colonial period nail and a Victorian period nail?
So the colonial nails, they called them rose heads. So they were a little bit fatter and they were like hand nailed. And then by the Victorian period, they became cut nails. So they were more square and they were machine made. So the colonial were hand made by like a blacksmith, and you can still get them from blacksmiths now. I think we pay like $2 a piece for them. Yeah.
So as a kid, I grew up in Northern Ontario and then moved here when I was 10, and there was a barn that burned down. And, we were always kind of exploring the bank and what was left, but we found those square nails.
Yeah.
So that would have been Victorian.
Yes.
nails.
Yeah.
Was there a Canadian Victorian variant that you're aware of, or just
Not
Victorian?
that I'm aware of.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Interesting.
Yeah.
The more you know.
Yes.
The more you know. All right.
So Danielle, obviously Lancaster City and County is filled with buildings all over,
Mhm.
properties all over, right?
Yeah.
What determines a historic value of a property? Like, do you have a list of properties, list of buildings that are
Technically we do.
Okay. Like, how would somebody who owns a property or owns
Yeah.
a building know that they have a building of historical significance?
So they can reach out to us and we'll let them know if we have a file. The last countywide survey was done in the early 90s. I joked that I was in middle school, but it's really not a joke. I was in middle school. And but that survey is our last like baseline. Now there are some other things like in the ordinances that will make it historic, like if it's listed on the National Register or some other kind of, but usually at the local level, it's our survey list. We are working with some of the municipalities now to revisit those, because there were properties missed, not intentionally. It's just have volunteers doing it.
Sure.
and it and there've been a couple issues recently where like somebody wrote Oregon Pike instead of Oregon Road, and then there was an argument with this.
Yeah.
But there's a picture of the building, so you can look at it and know that somebody just made a mistake.
Mhm,
Like
right,
so,
right.
it's those kinds of things that we're trying to make it a little bit better. Yeah.
And so going back to the mid 90s for that
Mhm.
survey, is that something that you as the Preservation Trust need to go back and resurvey, or you just rely on and consistently improve the quality of that information, because we're not rewinding the time clock,
Right.
going back in the DeLorean to build a building and bring it back to present
Correct.
day?
It's a little bit of both.
Okay.
So there, and it's funny, I've been thinking about this a little bit more. It seems like there's a bias against like the buildings that were being built while you were a child, like, oh, those aren't really special. So like there was definitely a bias in that early 90s period where people were not really thinking that the early 20th century buildings were important. Well, now they're 100 years old.
Right.
And so those, and it was very subjective. It was like, is this a good building? But they gave them levels, and there was levels of significance, and it was all based on your opinion. So I want to go back and include those buildings, but then also, because time does go on, we can't go backwards, but time goes on.
Right.
So, even the mid-century modern buildings, probably some of them should be documented. We don't have a ton in this area. But that looking at that and making it less subjective, saying whether that it's contributing versus non-contributing, rather than giving it different levels of significance. Those are the things that I want to update and just make it a little bit more objective.
Yeah. Yeah. So has there, so two questions, and we do want to talk about some specific projects, but I always go off script and produces a script. It's kind of a joke around here. Everybody tunes in to see how Jeff's going to consternate Ben going off script. So here we go off script.
Okay.
One, has there ever been like buildings that you're aware of or obviously are known in the community that history has popped up and it's been like, oh, wow, we didn't know, like Meriwether is an example for the expansion of the West. Like we didn't know that this person lived here, was born here or did this here.
Yeah.
And then two, has there ever been like a project where they knocked down like an addition to a historic building and like you uncover this facade and nobody knew it was there?
Yeah. I can think of several where like something has been uncovered where it was covered up in the probably in the mid 20th century, and then it was uncovered and there's this beautiful facade or something's uncovered. And I think there's history all around us that we're not aware of. There's a book that I read during the pandemic, and anybody that listens to my podcast knows that I reference this a lot, but I feel like he was a political science professor that didn't know he was writing a preservation book. It was called Slavery in the North, and about how there's all of these buildings that were tied to enslavement in the North. But because it wasn't documented, because it wasn't remembered, the collective memory forgot it. And how these tangible places can actually help us to remember our history. And I think about that a lot, like, talking about like, nobody remembered that Andrew Ellicott lived at our house on North Prince Street and taught Meriwether Lewis there for, in the early 1800s. Nobody remembered that till they were digging through trying to figure out why they shouldn't tear this building down. And for the Register for National Historic Places, one of the things is the architecture, like just the building, but then it's also, significant events, significant people. So all of those things come together to tell you if a building is significant.
Yeah. Interesting. Very cool. All right. So that so sounded like it's time to get back to the script, and I think we're on question 3.
So Charles Terrence Harper here. Is that somebody you know?
It is. He was one of my professors for my graduate program.
He thinks you're A++++.
I looked. So if you're watching, I looked up at that comment, and I'm like, is that person saying something mean to Danielle?
Oh, no.
But it's Danielle's professor. So Professor Harper, thank you for chiming in, and thank you for being kind and saying Danielle is A quadruple plus and not something else. I thought, just my eyes were down here, and then I look up there. I'm like, what's happening?
No.
Yeah, this is a family-friendly show.
This isn't. That's not the Danielle I know. Just get that person off the show. No, just kidding, Mr. Harper. So
this will be interesting. I think we can learn more about your process and what you go through with preserving buildings with Historic Preservation Trust of Lancaster by talking about the Rosalind Carriage House that was recently auctioned here in Lancaster County. I know the Rosalind Carriage House was designed and maybe built by C. Emlen Urban?
Design, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe you can tell us more about who he is and then talk about this Rosalind house. And
Sure. So C. Emlen Urban was a very prolific architect, I can say that word, in the late 1800s and early 1900s in Lancaster County and even into Dauphin County, because he did a lot of work for Hershey.
Was he born here?
He was born in he was born in Conestoga.
Okay.
And his dad was a carpenter and a stair builder, and he started his architectural career in his early 20s. He designed over 1,000 buildings in the area. A lot of the iconic buildings that you can think of in downtown Lancaster were designed by him. The Grice Building, the facade to the Wat and Shan, a lot of the buildings going down West King. Just a lot of he did a lot of building and a variety of architectural styles. I hear the architects call it designing in different languages. I think he designed in 40 different languages.
Wow.
And he designed anything from like very elaborate buildings like the Roslyn estate to like Greg Scott, which I'm sure we'll talk about, the architect. He he does he's found like rows of row houses that he designed. So it's
Wow.
he designed any, you know, multiple, and not even just residential or commercial. He designed a cow barn. Like there's like all these different things that, like, if you have a chance to go to any of Greg's talks about it, it's very interesting, all the different things that he built or designed.
So unless you really studied C. Emlen Urban's architecture, you wouldn't necessarily be able to look at any one building and say, "Oh yeah,
That's the guy."
like
Correct.
like Frank Lloyd Wright."
Right.
You
Yeah. He didn't
largely-
have just one style.
You
Yeah.
can largely
Mhm.
look at a building and say, "That's probably Frank Lloyd Wright." You
Right.
wouldn't necessarily know. this
Correct.
about Urban.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
40 plus and design some barns.
Yeah.
Before technology.
Yes. Yeah. I said I can't imagine how much he had to work.
Yeah.
Like how much work he was doing.
They didn't have ChatGPT for that.
No. No, not at all. But the Roslyn property, so before maybe 10 years ago, it was one property with the house and the carriage house, and that got subdivided a few owners ago. And someone had started working on it like 4 or 5 years ago. That one of the walls collapsed. The foundation had been undermined. They rebuilt the wall and just kind of left it. So then it went up for auction.
This is a house right on Marietta Avenue.
Marietta and President.
On the
Yeah.
west end of
Yes.
Lancaster
Yeah.
City.
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's in the chateau-esque style. I did have to look that up to make
There
sure
it
I was
is.
correct. Yes. Yeah, that is it. But it was designed for Peter Watt of Watt and Shan. So this was his the house that he built. His granddaughter is still involved, very much an active supporter of the trust, and she has a book about her family in this house. But the people who own the house have beautifully restored it. It's in great condition, and now we're very excited that Greg and his wife Terry have purchased the carriage house, because they're going to then restore it, and both buildings on the property will be, restored in beautiful condition.
Yeah, the property and building look just kind of okay
Yeah.
on the screen. I mean,
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what I would do with 10,000 square feet or whatever it is.
I remember, I used to live on the west end of Lancaster and passed that property, I don't know how many hundreds of times, and just like, wonder who lives there. Wonder what the story of that place is.
Yeah.
The person that bought it at auction recently, you said Greg?
Yeah, Greg Scott, and he's a local architect, but he has written multiple books about C. Emlen Urban. He's very much a C. Emlen Urban scholar, and he has
You could say he's an urbanite.
and he in the paper he wrote that, or he told the reporter that they had wanted to buy or purchase an urban property, but they didn't want to tear any apart. But because this is like a blank slate, they were excited to be able to do that. And they're planning on living in it and restoring it to its full glory.
I mean, so in essence, the perfect person for
Yes.
this project,
Yeah.
invested in the home.
Yes.
That's awesome.
I think just to add some thought to that, I think it's neat, and this is kind of ties it back to why I think Lancaster and Lancaster County is so special. Watt and Shand, this property, the Roslyn Estate and subsequent carriage house, owned by Mr. Watt, not that far from where Watt and Shand department store stood.
Right.
This is the essence of local business, right? Like,
That's true.
you're doing business in town, and I guess maybe he walked some days to work. My guess is
Probably
drove
yeah.
or
Carriage.
Yeah.
carriage back in the
Yeah.
day. But like, that's the essence of local business. Like, you will see Ben and I out and about town. You will see Danielle out and about town.
Yeah. It's a little discerning or disconcerting sometimes when I'm like running out in my sweatpants and somebody's like recognizes me.
But to the point of like, you couldn't pick a shareholder of Target
Right.
out of an audience
Mm-hmm.
or Walmart, or Costco.
Mm-hmm. That's very
You see
true.
these two mugs, for good or bad, every Monday at 2. We're all over our website. You see Danielle. You see our friends at Van Scoy, Maurer and Bash Jewelers. All kinds of other great local businesses, and we all live right here in our cool little county and town. So
That's very true.
I just wanted to point that out. I thought that was interesting as that popped up on screen.
Yeah.
And it is a beautiful property.
Yeah.
It is.
I've seeing it again on screen. I'm like, oh yeah, I know where that is. I know exactly
Yeah.
where that is.
Yep.
I've driven by it too.
Right there in
Yeah.
that corner. Danielle, what role did the Historic Preservation Trust play in this auction process?
So we had it very adjacent role. It was not.
Okay.
It was not. But we've had this building on our watch list since the wall collapse because we were nervous that it wasn't being restored and it was kind of just being allowed to deteriorate. And then when we found out it was being auctioned, right away we were like, oh well, will the property be reunited? Because that that would be something also that would have been a good outcome. But then when we found out at our annual dinner that Greg Scott was emceeing, that he was bidding on it during the dinner, which is also named for Emlen Urban.
Such a cool story.
I know. That was like, oh, this is fun to kind of be involved in it, but also, great that we're going to have such a good steward. Like we're not going to have to worry about this building now. Yeah.
So, you said the property was on like the watch list and you were concerned.
Yes.
Yeah. It's I'm guessing there isn't you can't call 911
Sometimes I wish
as like a local neighbor, as a Lancaster County constituent, somebody who cares about history. I mean, you call 911 and say, hey, I know this building is of historical value and I noticed the walls falling down. Can you send somebody out? Like that doesn't exist. So how does the Preservation Trust stay up to date, become aware?
So we try to watch the municipal notices, just if there's somebody applying for a demolition permit or something like that. But we also try to create relationships with the municipalities, and we'll talk about the Hoopereby Barn a little bit later, but that we got alerted to that because of our relationship with Manheim Township. So it's a mixture of things. And sometimes we get calls from concerned neighbors, and then we start reaching out. Like a lot of my job is just kind of making those uncomfortable phone calls and being like, what are you doing? What's the plan? And then seeing if there's any way that we can help, bring people together so that we can save the building.
Well, I'm glad you said that because I didn't want it to be presented as like, oh, here's this yet again, another arm of government coming onto my property. You are there to help. Obviously somebody's on that property because they loved it. They loved it for the reason and the history of it.
Right.
And it just is it is important that we preserve this stuff. And so what are those ways that the Preservation Trust helps in these instances?
So we'll if we can't get the property owner to communicate with us, we will sometimes go public, make a press release or something like that. But oftentimes we work in the background where we'll reach out and we'll be like, do you need resources? Do you need somebody that could help you tackle this problem? Do you need a solution? And we'll try to bring those things to the forefront. We do create a list every year of buildings that we're worried about that's on our watch list. But it's not necessarily shaming. It's just to kind of let the rest of the county know that there are buildings around us that could be lost. And if somebody doesn't do something. So it's not, we try to very much not be, the hysterical society.
You're trying to be good stewards.
We do, but we try to encourage people to realize why what they have is important if they don't realize it.
Yeah. Well, there was a little dust up in my community. Somebody had overgrown lawn. They blew a tremendous amount of grass out in the street. Okay. Yeah. Now, beyond the safety issue, now I'm a motorcycle rider. Right. So for people like me, that is a safety issue. Not so much that street because it was pretty straight, but it can be an issue. My point in sharing this story is people were concerned, and the way you bring it up is what matters. And I think if you can bring up a concern to the Preservation Trust, Danielle, who is very passionate about history,
Mhm.
very passionate about this, can be that resource and can say things like, hey, I know this house for a fact has colonial period nails,
Mhm.
and I happen to know a blacksmith that can hammer out some colonial period nails.
Right.
Do you need help with that? Right.
Mhm. Yeah.
This is a little example.
Yeah.
So it's really cool how you kind of can interface like
Mhm.
that and
Yeah.
save these buildings.
Yeah, and even encouraging a reuse, an adaptive reuse, where you're taking the tobacco warehouse or whatever it could be and turning it into something
Yeah.
else, because that can be done very successfully, and that's can be a very good economic development kind of resource too.
Well, and we brought up Watt and Shan. I mean,
Mhm.
the Watt and Shan building is part of the downtown.
Exactly.
What property is it? The Marriott?
The Marriott and the
And the convention center,
Yeah.
and the convention center in the back of it has all the beautiful architecture
Mhm.
from your
Yes.
period of your, which is an official period, is it not?
It is now.
And so, like that was I know that project had a lot of opinions,
Yeah.
but I think in the end, it's been a great asset to Lancaster County, and you got to preserve
And
some
it's
stuff.
beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is beautiful.
Got to preserve
Yeah.
a lot of unique
I mean,
things.
I was gonna say you can't walk into any other, not that I'm aware of any other convention center in the country and see the back of a colonial house.
Right.
Yeah. That's so cool.
Yeah.
So you mentioned the Huber EB barn,
Yes.
which is on Lidditz Pike on
Mhm.
501,
Yes.
just north of Nessville on your way to Lidditz.
Correct.
And is that one of those properties that was in danger of being torn down?
It is, and
Tell us the
and
story
it has
about
been on the watch list for the past 30 years, on and off. But when I pulled out the file for it to get some more information, I realized that the trust has been working to save this barn since 1996.
And it hasn't been in use since.
It has
that
not.
time. Okay.
So originally there were farmhouses, there were other outbuildings. When the family sold off the farmland, they left the track in front with the buildings on it. The retirement communities got built. There's
Right.
cottages behind it, and the buildings have just been left to sit. So now every other building that was associated with the farmstead has been demolished,
Mm.
and all that's left is the Huber EB barn, which was built in 1861.
Oh, wow.
And it has a date stone. And it is one of the few barns that we have left in the county that is all wood siding. And most of the siding is original. Now some of it's falling off, but it has not been maintained. But a lot of our barns that have survived are usually either brick or stone, at least at the gable ends, and that's just more durable material.
Mhm.
So late last year, Manheim Township reached out. They had received a demolition permit request from the owner of this property,
Mhm.
and we went in and met with the township and asked if they would give us some time to try to find a new home for the barn. And they were like, "Sure, we'll just leave the application open." They gave me the contact information for the owner. I went and met with him. He was fine with letting us try to find a new home for the barn. So we started, letting people know that it would be available, letting the people who rebuild barns, those kinds of things. And then we did this spring go back to the property owner and ask him if he would allow us to do a press release. So we've done now a press release and had multiple media coverage appearances about the barn. We've gotten some calls, but nothing definite yet. So if anybody needs a barn, just let me know.
This is like if
Yeah.
Lancaster Connects can make a barn connection.
Oh, that would be amazing.
I mean, that would be just incredible.
What do you need in a property to be able to transport this barn?
So because it is a timber frame barn, it could be dismantled and then rebuilt someplace. It doesn't
Okay.
necessarily need to be taken in one piece.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So how big is the barn?
It is, the main portion is 40 by 70.
Okay.
So not that big.
Not huge. I can't put it in my backyard, but I'm sure there's a lot of backyards
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
farm property.
I already have a problematic structure on my property.
Oh no.
It's being fixed. Anyway,
Being picked up by two guys in a pickup truck.
yeah. What's so other than the fact that it is an all wood
Mhm.
barn, what is there anything else about it that's special? Like, what's the history of the farm?
Yeah, I think that it really shows Manheim Township's agricultural past.
Okay.
And right, you wouldn't think right there on, Lidditz Pike going down, that there were, there's a picture there of, when there were horses there. It definitely was a farm community, and it's not something that we necessarily always think about driving to Lidditz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Lidditz Pike
Yeah.
is, I was out that way on my motorcycle after being here Saturday morning with the sales team. And that's the way I meandered home. And I was sweating. It was hot.
Yeah.
It was traffic. It was pavement. It
Yep, you
was
got
concrete.
Airport,
Yeah.
movie theater.
But it does have
traffic,
some
traffic.
interesting architectural features too, because it
Yeah.
was kind of that Victorian period.
Yeah. That was a fancy barn back
It was,
in the day.
yeah,
It was a barn to be looked upon.
yes,
And
yeah.
Is it important for that barn? There you
Yeah.
are.
I am.
Is it important for the barn to stay in Manheim Township?
No,
No.
it would just be, for me, my win would be that it could be reused instead
Somewhere.
of, yes, because I know that there would be a bunch of people that would be willing to take the wood and repurpose it. And yeah, I would love that because that keeps it out of the landfill. But my win would be that it gets rebuilt somewhere.
Yeah.
now, are there any kind of like grants that are available for things like that to preserve, like move and preserve?
It would depend on the organization. Like if it was an organization taking it, possibly. Like if it was a nonprofit or a municipality, there's a lot less available for like private property owners.
Well, you saw some photos, you heard about it. Let's see what we can do.
Yeah.
Maybe we get it out there. That'd be awesome.
Mhm.
Lancaster Connect saves the barn.
And we'll have to add a name to it.
That video that Chris showed had Benton Weber on.
Yes, yeah.
I believe he's our guest next week.
Okay.
Next week or 2 weeks. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But he's Manheim Township Historical Society. So we'll learn more
Mhm.
about the Hoover Evie barn and make another plug there
Yes. Very good. Thank
for
you.
that property.
Yeah, very cool. Love all the work you're doing. So as the county continues to grow and evolve, and the other side of my weekend was my wife and I decided at like 6:20 Saturday night, let's go out for dinner down to the bay. It's like, let's get out in the car, let's just drive. It's a beautiful night.
Yeah.
And so we're driving through southern Lancaster County, which is just gorgeous.
Mhm.
Tons of farmland, tons of buildings, like barns, and just a lot of agricultural richness and beauty to take in. So I'd recommend you do that drive as well. And there's a lot of cool restaurants right down there on the water too. So, but as the county does grow and evolve, how do you balance that development and modernization with the need to preserve these spaces, these buildings, these houses?
I think that our mission is tied to the building. So what we try to do is to get people to incorporate the buildings into their design, whether it is, reusing them in another way or just, building around. Like oftentimes you go into a development and you can see, oh, this is the farmhouse that was, the start of this, this development or the land that the development was on. I know that there's like the Farmland Trust has other priorities. And I think that farms are important and food is important. But for our mission, it would be to just try to encourage the development to be done in a smart way, very strategic, but then also, to incorporate the buildings and not to view them as just something that's in the way.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
For people listening and watching, how can they help support or, spread the word
Mhm.
about?
We have multiple ways that people could support us. We have volunteer opportunities. We have regular events that you can attend. We also, we have memberships or you can also donate to us. There's multiple ways. And then, if you want to know more about, the events, if you follow us on our social media channels, that will help you to stay up to date with what we're doing or join the email list.
I saw there's a volunteer list,
Mhm.
Chris, if you wouldn't mind. So a number of volunteer opportunities.
Yes.
Being involved in a committee,
Mhm.
photography,
Yes.
property research. I bet some people really get into that.
Oh yeah,
researching
definitely. And
specific
it's, yeah.
property
And
the
there's,
history and-
there's people who I can just send, files to and be like, can you give me, like a synopsis, and a couple days later I get everything back that I need. So it's great in that way. I mean, I couldn't do what we do without our volunteers.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Looks like I'm not sure where Chris is. Oh, there are more volunteer opportunities in the form to fill out if you're interested in volunteering. That's very cool.
Yeah, very, very neat that you do this work to make Lancaster County remain what it is.
Yeah.
Because we just don't want to knock it all down and have it look like the same shoebox thing, concrete structure, boring.
Yeah.
Borax looking place, right?
Yeah, I do think that that's what makes Lancaster County unique is that you have like almost 300 years of architecture. You can walk downtown and see all 300 years.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Truth be told, we as Steph and I went down to the Bay, I thought GPS would take us through the city. That's the way I've always been accustomed to going 222 South down through the city, all the way through the south end of town. But we went over the river, through the woods, through the farmland. Yeah. And I was disappointed because I didn't get to see what was going on that side of downtown.
Yeah.
It's been a little while since I've been over on that side because it is so unique. It is so different.
You could override GPS, do your own tour.
Yeah. Mama was hungry. And I just trust the GPS that maybe there was an accident or something.
I can't
going that route.
Nope.
So I
got to keep Mama happy.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, and so we made it. But yeah, I was disappointed that I didn't get to see that. So we'll have to plan another trip and I'll say, well, Ben said, as we can sit in
Don't
traffic,
bring me into it.
We can sit in traffic for 45 minutes looking at the beautiful buildings.
Pack snacks.
Yeah.
There you go.
Ben knows all about packing snacks.
I do.
He does. There's a drawer of them in this room.
The drawer is currently empty, Jeffrey. Danielle, change of subject. You referenced events. You have at least one event coming up.
We
and
do.
Maybe some
So
others
we do have. We're doing some America 250 events with the library. So we have children's programming, and then some adult programming. Those are on our website. So if somebody would be interested in that, because there's multiples of those. And then next month we will have the Patriot Daughters of Lancaster, which was an organization that was started during the Civil War. Do a presentation at the Trust on July 8th, and it will be one of our happy hours. So there'll be a happy hour before the presentation.
Very nice. And that's July 8th?
Yes, July 8th. Happy hour starts at 5:30, and then the presentation's at 6:30.
Okay. And what are they going to be focusing on and sharing?
They'll be actually talking about the history and some of the people that were involved, and they will be in their not colonial, their Civil War outfits.
Get the period right.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. I have a colonial outfit now for when I do the children's program at the library.
Oh, nice. I bet the kids get a kick out of that.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, nice.
They do.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, this has been a lot of fun. I think it's time for Connection Cocktail.
Okay, very good.
Brought to you by Boob's Brewery. They were here.
Yes, they were.
These jugs contain some fine libations that we enjoyed both here, and then I enjoyed at home.
That's right, you did.
Because I took this jug and another jug home. They're have you ever been here and had?
I have, yes. Yeah.
Have you had their what was it, dill pickle martini?
Oh, no,
it was quite good.
It was very good.
Yeah.
And what was the other one? It was wine. There was wine involved.
Wasn't it bourbon? Wine and bourbon or something?
Yes.
That might be interesting.
Was the wine sitting on top of the bourbon? It was combined the two, and it was also quite good.
Yeah.
It was involved.
It was a good show.
Oh, this was during the show.
The show went into overtime a little bit.
We were pouring them out. Anyway, Connection Cocktail brought to you by Boob's Brewery. Go check them out.
Love it.
Right there in the heart of Mount Joy. All right, I'll kick it off. So, in a music or a podcast for a long drive. What's your choice?
Oh goodness, my music tastes are pretty eclectic. I have been listening to Our Ancestors Were Messy as a podcast. It's pretty fun, and it kind of reinforces my belief that people haven't changed that much. We're all the same. It just our technology's changed.
Yeah, the bullhorn's just a little different.
Yeah.
Reaches a little further, can be a little louder, a little less context.
Yeah.
And what was that one called again?
Our Ancestors Were Messy.
Our Ancestors Were Messy.
Yeah.
Interesting. I'm going to check that one out. All right.
Second question. Friends had to describe you using 1 or 2 words outside of work. What would it be?
See, I got the list earlier, and I was like, oh no, I don't know what they. And I'm like, seeing myself the way other people see me might be good some days.
Right.
But I would hope that they would say authentic.
Very good.
I see that.
I
100%.
very much see that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's our 60th anniversary commemoration that we received from Representative Smucker.
Oh, very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. What's a local business that you love supporting that people should know about?
We have so many good restaurants, local restaurants. But I was thinking, like, what would I miss if they were gone? And now we don't have Sprout downtown, so I would really miss Rice and Noodles if they were gone too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. They're
on Lidditz Pike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How are their curry noodles?
They don't have curry noodles.
Oh, they don't have curry
No.
noodles. Okay.
No. Oh, they have it already. Very fast.
Yeah.
Chris's on it. What's your favorite?
I like the pho, and usually then some spring rolls. That's my go-to.
Yeah.
And I do like the seltzer with lemon or with lime and sugar as my drink, but my husband always gets the espresso with the condensed milk, which is also tasty, but it keeps me awake.
Maybe not a good dinner choice, especially if we're trying to get a better night's sleep.
Yes.
Right. All right. Well, thanks for sharing. So America's 250th.
Yes.
Is this year. From your view, what makes America so great?
I would say, like, I think that there is definitely an American attitude of like, we can do this, we can get things done. And I'm going to paraphrase. I heard a Winston Churchill quote this weekend. It was like, Americans will do the right thing after they've exhausted every other option. I think that that's very true of like how we approach some of the hard things in our history, but I think that is, I think that acknowledging that and realizing that this is a country unlike every other country in the world, because we're a country of multiple, from all different areas of the world coming together, rather than everybody's lived here for thousands of years. So I think that that's what really makes us special.
That's awesome. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, love that answer. That's good. All right, this has been a lot of fun. We went rapid fire, but that's okay. It's quite all right.
Do.
Danielle, thank you for taking the time.
Thank you very much.
We've got a little bit of business to wrap up, so you can just support us in that if that's okay.
I will.
With your presence and awesomeness. All right. Well, my sleep better tip, and we'll send you a whole bunch of them. Well, our gift to you is our Sleep Better book. You go to gardnersmattressandmore.com/sleep-better. And so this one is about maybe prescriptions or medicines or supplements that you might take throughout the day or maybe at night. Think about them. Now, obviously, AI and ChatGPT is great. They should not replace your doctor. But, maybe put in all of those doctor prescribed medicines you're taking and see if there isn't something that might be going on. Like maybe taking this so late in the day is making you get up to go to the bathroom at night, and that's disrupting your sleep. And maybe you could take that a little earlier in the day. Again, please do consult your doctor. This isn't medical advice. I am just Jeff Janakovo, co-owner of Gardner's Mattress and More. I know a lot about sleep. I don't know a lot about your sleep, and I'm not your doctor. But it is information that just simple information to present to you to think about. Like maybe something also gives you energy, and you could take that earlier in the day as opposed to later in the day. Maybe something really relaxes your muscles, right? And those muscles are muscles in the back of your throat. and your spouse is saying, you're snoring lately and you don't know why. Well, you might look at that medicine and say, oh, that's why. So a simple adjustment. And when you take it, again, take that into consideration, consider the source, go to your doctor as your source, but look at the way those medicines are laid out, and you might just be able to improve your sleep just simply by reconfiguring when you take them. That's my sleep better tip.
I like it.
A little different flavor that one.
Sorry to change it up.
And I think I appeased the attorneys enough. I'm not your
I think you
doctor.
did. I think you did. All right. Testimonial time for Gardner's Mattress and More. Handwritten testimonial here just came in within the past week here from our customer, Jill. It's always interesting to see what people write about their experience, about their mattress buying process. And of course, the process is something that our sleep consultants and sleep science coaches now, shout out to our team. They've recently got sleep coach certified within the last few months. They know a lot about sleep. They know a lot about the mattresses that we carry, and they know we have a very formulaic process to match your sleep needs via questions to the right mattress. But, sometimes people just need a little bit of space. They need education, but then they need a little bit of space. So Jill wrote that the process for assessing sleep needs was excellent, and she loved being able to try different mattresses with no one hovering, and was encouraged to do the same on a different day before she decided. So she got all the information she needed, and then she was able to spend some time on the mattresses without us around. And sometimes you just need time to lay there.
Yep.
Maybe take your own little self nap, whatever it is. But we will do that for you, give you all the information you need to make the best educated decision you can, and then give you space when it's appropriate. And you need to make your decision, because really it's your body's choice of what is going to be the best fit for your sleep needs. So thank you, Jill. Thanks for the handwritten testimonial. Came in the mail, which is, we get these back quite often,
some weeks more of those than the Google reviews.
Yep. And it's just nice that people get out pen and, write some nice things for us.
In 2026 of all time, not 1986.
Yep.
To echo Jill's comments about our process here, I was at a charity golf outing Friday night, and one of our prospective customers, him and his wife have very competing schedules, so they have to shop separately. But he echoed what Jill had to say about space. He's like, you guys are really great at that. I'm like, there's no pressure. I didn't feel force. And I said, we just don't have to.
Yeah.
We know our products are great. We know the way we serve our customers is great. And you just let the customer ultimately decide, with us answering some of their questions, offering some guidance. We just give you that space, and you'll see that in our reviews, a consistent message of a no pressure environment. So that's what we want to deliver to you. So yeah, very good. I think that's the show.
That is the show.
It is the show. All right. Danielle, thank you again.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for all the great work you're doing there at
Thank
the
you.
Historic Preservation Trust of Lancaster. And then the other part-time job you do, newly restored.
Yeah.
Not newly restored, sorry.
Keperling Preservation Services.
Keperling Preservation Services.
Yeah.
Newly restored is our other friends, Cap Brown.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Oh, that's okay.
I don't know where I got that from.
We've had over 250 guests on the show.
Yeah.
Sometimes the names just
They just all run together
Yeah.
sometimes. But please
There you
do.
Yeah.
Please do connect with Danielle at either company, because she can help you with either.
Oh,
And
I'm curious. You mentioned your podcast.
Yes.
And you mentioned your podcast on a podcast. Let's
Yes.
learn about your podcast. We have a
Podcastception.
few minutes left here.
So it's the Practical Preservation Podcast. I interview different preservation people, whether it is like craftspeople, but also material suppliers or sometimes academics. It just depends. It's a mismatch, a wide variety of people. But I enjoy it. I'm sure you probably find this with your podcast too, that you meet people and you get to learn their stories, and then you're talking to somebody else and you realize that, I can connect these people.
Yep.
And yeah, that's exactly
that
what my podcast does. So I enjoy it, and it's a good way to get people to learn about the work that we do, but also what other people do.
And then we can see that on your website.
Yes,
Chris
it is.
had up
And
there?
it's also on all of the podcast platforms.
Just look up
Practical Preservation.
Podcast, the PPP.
Yes.
Very cool. Well, thanks for sharing.
Very good.
Yeah. Thank you.
Danielle, thank you again.
Thank you.
Thanks for all your work. All right. And we will see everybody else next week at 2:00. Take care.
Our comments have exploded through the roof. So there you go.